3 balls, 2 strikes. Mike and Marianne Gaughan, formerly of LaSalle, Peru, celebrating their son's Connor's 13th birthday here tonight. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Dwight Smith is on with a base on ball. There's a good start, and here's Ray Sanchez. What do you think, Jose Vizcaino? Not you, don't give me the answer. I know you're looking right at it. But what do you think, fans, Jose Vizcaino is hitting today? After that 4-for-4 day yesterday, the 4th hit driving in the winning run.
You sure you don't want me to tell you?
No.
Okay.
I want everybody to guess. 339. How about that? He's up there with the leading hitters now. He's hitting more than Mark Grace, more than Derek May.
David Need has a pretty good move to first, and Dwight Smith is going to have to be careful down there. And this outfield, very fast for the Rockies of Clark, Cole, and Bichette.
The pitch. Curveball in there, a beauty, a strike call.
What you try to do against the Rockies is get on top early, because Don Baylor has a club that's built on speed, and he will try to run you out of the ballpark, running every chance he gets. And if you do get far enough ahead, maybe you can take that running game away from the Rockies.
The pitch, they call a pitch out. Nobody going. And the count is evened up. A ball and a strike.
Now, the Cubs saw David Need in spring training. He pitched 3 innings against them, gave up 6 hits and 4 earned runs. So he's no stranger to them, and they hit him pretty well in the spring.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled it back out of play.
Joe Girardi, as you would expect, certainly knows the Cub hitters, and I got to believe that he's going to call for a slider here to Sanchez. They play him just a couple steps into right center field, with Alex Cole playing him a couple steps on the right field side of second base.
The runner back. Dwight Smith, who walked at first base. Ray Sanchez hitting .290. No homers, 5 RBIs. Struck him out on a slider that broke into the dirt. Sanchez went down swinging.
We talked about the best pitch to the right-handers being the David Need slider, and there it is. It goes down, it moves away from Sanchez, and if you try to pull that ball, you're not going to do much with it. So there's the first strikeout of the night. And Mark Grace will have a look at David Need as Ray Sanchez takes a slow walk back.
Mark Grace hitting .323. They almost picked him off at first base. Galarraga with the quick hands, but Dwight Smith was back. Grace, his batting average has slumped a little bit, but he has 3 homers, 13 RBIs. Getting the throw over there.
The Florida Marlins were just here, and they took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies. The Marlins 7-11. The Rockies 6-11. The Rockies find themselves 4 games in back of Houston and San Francisco.
Outside, the Hinsdale boys, Kurt and Dave, living here in Denver. One ball, no strikes. The throw over there, he's back.
Colorado's team ERA 5.02, and that's behind even the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have a 4.77 ERA. So the Rockies at the bottom, but the hitters 5th in the league, and they've had not too much trouble hitting the ball.
High pop ball out of play. Grace recently has been hitting almost everything to the third base side of the field, towards left field. That's probably because they're pitching him outside. Strike ball over the inside corner. now he's in the hole. 2 strikes and the ball. Pam and John Priest from Wilmette on hand here today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Line to foul in the left field.
It's 423 to straightaway center here in Mile High Stadium, and the Rockies will play here for 2 years before they move into Coors Park. As we pan across, you'll see the configuration of this ballpark, and bear in mind, they haven't hit a home run to right field yet, but that's going to be put to the test tonight with Derek May.
Getting the throw over there. Galarraga, nice pickup and tag, but not in time. Jim Denver from Pagosa Springs, Colorado's on hand. One ball, 2 strikes. There goes the runner. Swung on. Line drive, center field. Dwight Smith around second, on his way to third. And the Cubs have runners at first and third with only 1 out. Grace, with Dwight Smith breaking, line to single to center.
Good hit and run as Need throws a high fastball, and Mark Grace finally gets on top of one and lines it into center. Now bear in mind one thing. Alex Cole cannot throw the ball very well, and this outfield here is very choppy. Cole told me before the game that you can't charge anything aggressively or it'll just hop over your glove. So the outfielders have to be tentative here.
The pitch to Derek May. Swung on. This will get a run home. Straightaway center field. Cole makes the catch. Here's the throw coming towards the plate. Safe. Boy, oh boy, they almost got him. Did you say he didn't have a good arm?
Well, he doesn't really have a good arm, Harry, but he had everything going for him there because he was able to set up, come straight forward, and we'll watch it again. Dwight Smith tagging up. And a pretty good throw by Cole. And he just barrels over Joe Girardi. Joe can't hang on to it. The first sacrifice fly for Derek May, his 12th run batted in, and Cole makes one of the better throws he'll make all year.
Well, I tell you, if Girardi had held on to the ball, I got a feeling he'd have been called out. Jim Quick, the plate umpire. Sammy Sosa. 1-0 Cubs. Curve outside. Sosa hitting .258. 4 homers. 10 RBI. A sacrifice fly for Derek May. Scores Dwight Smith. High. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. David Need knows there's no way he can pitch a shutout tonight. Sammy be swinging if the pitch is good. He did, and he missed. Come on, Sammy, just beat the ball.
You don't have to swing hard here with 333 down the lines, and some people say that the lines really are shorter than that. 366 to the power alleys and a very inviting left field porch. Although the fence is 14 feet high, pop-ups seemingly go out of this park.
Over the first, runner back. Grace set up the run, and Derek May drove it home.
Sammy's going to have some problems against right-handed breaking balls if he tries to hit everything 8 miles. Now, if you make a mistake with a fastball, Sammy's going to hit it, especially if it's up. But if Need stays away with the slider, Sammy's going to have to make a decision to go to right field. If he tries to pull off the ball, he's going to miss it by a foot.
Boy, look how they're playing him. If he hit the ball to right field, he's a cinch triple. Bichette is way over in right center. There's a position. There's Bichette, the right field. Well, look at the ground between him and the right field line. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. One in. The Cubs lead 1-0. The runner will be going. Grace. There he goes. Ground ball right back to the mound. Easy out. And Sosa grounds out. So 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go in the bottom of the first. Cubs leading 1-0. Harry Carey back in Denver. The lineup for the Rockies: Eric Young, the second baseman leading off. Alex Cole in center. Hayes in third. Galarraga at first. Clark in left. Girardi catching. Bichette in right. Castilla at short. And David Need, the pitcher. The Cubs defensive alignment presented by Crystal. Pepsi is as you see it. May, Smith, and Sosa in the outfield. Buechel, Sanchez, Vizcaino, and Grace on the infield. Harkey pitching, strike call.
Mike Harkey making his third. Mike Harkey making his third start of the year. It's his first ever, of course, against the Rockies, and he has a personal 6-game winning streak. And last time out against Houston, he went into the 8th inning, giving up just 2 hits.
Jose Vizcaino is 10th in the National League in hitting, tied with Luis Gonzalez of Houston at 339. Bouncing ball of Harkey's glove. He throws the first in time. Is he hurt?
Is Grace hurt?
What's the matter with Grace?
Mike Harkey looks like he's okay, and I don't know if Grace was stepped on or what happened, but it looked for a while like Harkey was a little hurt.
Well, whenever Harkey goes down like that, you fear the worst. He's been on the disabled list 5 different times.
We'll take another look at it as Mike Harkey has it hit off the glove, and then he makes a lunge and makes the play, and they keep a very good base runner off base. And now they're talking with Mike Harkey to find out if he's okay. And you're right, Harry. Every time he makes a move, you have to worry about it. And it looked like the helmet of Eric Young hit Mark Grace. And it looks like the belt of Mike Harkey suffered the damage on the dive.
Oh, don't worry, your pants will hold up. John Fierro, who had kidney stones. Something you're familiar with.
Very familiar with that, Harry.
And so it's very painful.
It's about the worst you could imagine.
Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds' son, is leading the National League in hitting, 414. One of the big reasons why the Giants are where they are in the standing. Here's a little looper to short center field, gonna drop. Base hit. Alex Cole, a speedy center fielder hitting 286 for the year, dropped a single at short center.
And now the games begin, because if Eric Young gets on, he's stolen 10 bases, been caught once. If Alex Cole gets on, he's stolen 9 bases, been caught twice. And they run at will, but the one thing that happens to Alex Cole, he gets picked off.
There's the throw.
Don Baylor, knowing that he doesn't have a whole lot of power outside of Charlie Hayes and Andres Galarraga, is going to run every chance he gets.
And it's been backfiring him a lot lately, they tell me. Runner at first, 1 out. Charlie Hayes used to be with the Phillies, with the Yankees. Fine ball player. Good strike of fastball on the outside corner.
The Rockies have been successful 26 times and been thrown out just 9. And if you're going to catch against them, you've got to get your arm as loosened up as the pitcher, because they are going to go.
Good lead. Birthday greetings to Matt Karen from Ames, Iowa. His sister's watching the game. first and second with only one out. And Andres Galarraga coming up. And he's been red hot. He's hitting .382, 2 homers, 16 RBI.
Last couple of years, Andres Galarraga has really struggled. Last year with St. Louis at .243. The year before with Montreal, just .219. And after a banner year, hitting .305 in '87, .302 in '88. The batting average has plummeted. But Galarraga this year says that he's healthy. He had a lot of wrist problems. He says he's got a slightly open stance now. And the National League pitchers can't get inside like they used to. And you see the open stance right there.
There's a pitch a little high. From Amarillo, Bob Schrader and Mark Harvey are here. Cub fans. Big lead off first base by Hayes. Harkey whirls as if the throw to second holds on to the ball.
Galarraga is a good man for 2 if you can get him to hit the ball on the ground, although he has not grounded into a double play this year.
Into center field. Here's the throw coming into third base. And the Rockies have tied it up. And boy, they're pounding Mike Harkey.
This is RBI number 17 for Andres Galarraga. He takes a fastball down and takes it right back up the middle. And when Galarraga is hitting well, he goes back up the middle. And just like that, it's a tie game. But the Rockies are threatening.
Bill and Kim Kirby, formerly from Chicago, watching the ball game here. 1-1 tie. Boy, Gerald Clark had a good cut. He used to be with San Diego. He's hitting .217 with 2 homers.
Gerald Clark broke his hand in spring training. It set him back 3 weeks. He ran into the wall in Tucson. Now he says he's healthy, and he was taking some good swings before the game.
The pitch. Double play ball. Out at second base for 1. Out at first 2. And the inning is over. 3 hits, 1 run, 1 left. At the end of 1, the game is tied 1-1.
Mike Harkey gets out of that first inning with a 6-4-3, and for that inning double play, CarX helps put the brakes on cancer with a $100 contribution to Cubs Care.
Here's Steve Buechele, who got the big triple yesterday that tied the game, setting the stage for Jose Vizcaino's game-winning hit that followed. Slider outside. Randy Schuster here from Las Vegas. His grandparents live in Crown Point, Indiana. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
David Need is 6'2", 185 pounds, and he's out of Dallas, Texas. Good size for a pitcher.
He started the swing, tried to chuck, he went around. Tom Janusz from Roanoke, Virginia, where his wife Holly and son are watching the game. Fouled it on the play. Steve Creep sending his greetings to his parents, Ray and June Creep. Kid looks pretty good out there.
Pretty good pitch by David Need, and that off-speed slider working well for him tonight. Cubs bullpen coach Tony Muser was the manager of the Denver Zephyrs of the American Association during the 1991 and 1992 seasons. So this is a homecoming of sorts for Tony Muser. He was the league's manager of the year in 1991. He led his team to the title.
One man out, nobody on. Here's Rick Wilkins. Fastball a little bit outside. In the Denver Post this morning, an interesting story about Sam Zell, prominent Chicago businessman. Swung. Boy, Wilkins is really having trouble.
He's having trouble laying off that high pitch. And the head-high fastball, at least for him, you just can't catch up with it. And he's got to make the pitcher bring it down, and he'll be able to hit some line drives.
He's 2 out of 31 for the season. Right to call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hey, I see Sean Bosky was the winner again for Iowa last night. They've won 12 out of the 15 games they played. They beat Indianapolis again. Sean Bosky worked 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs. And they went on to win 5-2. There's a drive. Way back, but it's curving. Foul ball. Wilkins got out in front on that one. Pulled the foul.
Need threw him a slider, and Wilkins was able to get the bat around. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Girardi, who knows Wilkins pretty well, gives a sign for the high fastball once again. And there's the dimensions. Farthest right field in the majors, but probably the lightest air in the major leagues.
2 balls, 2 strikes. High pop fly. Charlie Hayes has the play, and he grabs it. Wilkins fouls to Hayes. 2 out. Here's Jose Vizcaino.
Well, there was the high fastball. Girardi called for it, and Wilkins, who's having a lot of problems with that pitch, just popped it straight up.
Vizcaino 4 out of 4 yesterday. And 5 out of his last 6. Slow curve over the outside corner. Todd Haddon, son of Carol Haddon, a great Cub fan, watching the ball game here. Strike called over the inside corner. Birthday greetings to Donald Saxman, 84 years old today. High.
A lot of people were surprised that David Need was exposed to the expansion draft. When you realize the Atlanta Braves had so much talent in their minor leagues, they had to expose somebody, and the Rockies got themselves a good one in Need.
A little tap down the third baseline. It's going to be thrown out by a half a step. 1, 2, 3 at the top of the second. We go into the last half, tied up 1-1. Harry Carey back in Denver. There's Dan Issel, the basketball coach of the Denver Nuggets, with his wife Sherry. Met him last night over at Brooklands. They were having a party for the private party for the basketball team. Here's the pitch. Joe Girardi on the first pitch lifts a high pop fly. Mark Grace calling for it, and Steve Buechele, who's going over, put on the brakes to allow him to get it. 1 away. Girardi hitting .298. Here's Dante Bichette.
Dante Bichette had a pretty good year last year with Milwaukee. Hit .287. But he's got a lot of power and really didn't show it last year. He hit just 5 home runs in 112 games. And that's probably one of the reasons why he's here in Denver. But he can hit the ball a long way, and he's hit 3 home runs already.
Curveball, a little bit outside. The Cubs are 1-9, lost 8 for the season. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Bob and Ed Henson, formerly a Mount Prospect, out here today. Ground ball, deep short. Picked up, throw. Got him. Sanchez pounced on that ball like a cat after knocking it down and threw out Bichette.
That's what you're going to have to do in this ballpark. Until they get the right mixture of dirt and clay in the infield, you're going to see a lot of strange hops. And this one just bounces up. Sanchez stays with it, fires it across. And this is not pleasant to play infield in this ballpark yet. But as Bob Gethard, the general manager, said, it seems to be getting better with every homestand, and they figure they're going to have it worked out soon.
There's a high fly ball hit by Vinny Castilla, deep center field. Way back, it might be out of here. Off the fence. Dwight Smith almost falls down. He may try for an inside the Parker. Is stopped at third base. Dwight Smith chased that ball to the center field fence and then almost fell down trying to pick it up.
Here's an example of a man who hit 7 home runs in 127 games last year. Hits one 423 feet, his first major league triple. Vinny Castilla playing because the normal shortstop, Freddie Benavides, is having some trouble hitting the ball. And Castilla, out of the Atlanta organization, crushes this ball, almost takes it out of the ballpark, but for that 30-foot screen in center.
Here now is David Meade. The pitcher takes the first pitch low and outside. That's the first extra base hit of the year for Vinny Castilla. Need is nothing out of 7. Bouncing ball. Harkey has it over to first to retire the side. 1 hit, no runs, 1 left. At the end of 2, still tied 1-1.
Right there.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone were back at Mile High Stadium, going now into the top of the 3rd.
Cub fans, plenty of good seats are available for the entire 1993 season, including weekend and night games. For tickets, stop by the Wrigley Field box office, any Ticketmaster outlet, or charge by phone at 312-831-CUBS.
Mike Harkey, who's had 1 hit, a double this year, 1 out of 6, leads it off. One fouls it back. Marla Jones, formerly from Lake Forest, watching the ball game here tonight. Cheryl, Julie, and Doug Bonney from Vernal, Utah, watching their first Cubs game. They watched all the time on WGN, so came over to Denver to see the Cubs in action. 0-2 the count. Ground ball left field, base hit. Attaboy, Mike. Harkey grounds a single to left.
Harkey is a pretty good hitter. In fact, lifetime over 200. Anytime you can say that, you can hit the ball, and he just showed that to David Need. So a good way to start the 3rd inning.
San Francisco and Philadelphia cooling off the Phillies. At the end of 4, the Giants lead 6-0. Dwight Smith. Third ball into the dirt. Nice save by Joe Girardi. Atlanta with that John Smoltz pitching leads Pittsburgh 3-0 at the end of 6. Double play ball. Out at second and out at first. That ball was hit right on the button. Vinny Castilla made a fine glove hand pickup and started the 6-4-3 double play.
Castilla is playing like he wants to keep that shortstop position. This one looks like it's going to the outfield, but they turn the double play on very speedy Dwight Smith. Look at the hop again, and a good pivot by Eric Young.
Cincinnati and Florida. Huff against Rio. No score in the bottom of the 7th at Cincinnati. Ray Sanchez fanned his first time. Almost hit with the first pitch. He's out of the way. Graybeck against McGrain. Houston leads St. Louis 2-1 in the 6th. Milwaukee walloping Minnesota 10-1 in the 7th. Wide ball 2-3. 3-0 now. Toronto 6-1 over Texas at the end of 5. Three balls and the strike. The White Sox got 3 off of Valenzuela, starting for Baltimore in the 1st. White Sox lead 4-0. There's a fly ball, easy out to retire the side. Sanchez flies to Alex Cole. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, nobody left. We go into the bottom of the 3rd, tied 1-1. Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman will be with us at the end of this half inning. Here's Eric Young to lead it off in the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan Sandberg tonight hit his first home run of the year for Daytona. For his 1 out of 3, a home run. He'll go to Orlando tomorrow in Double-A, and he'll probably be starting his first game in Chicago May 3rd. There's a strike call. 2 balls and a strike.
You want to keep Eric Young off base because along with Alex Cole, it gives him a dynamic 1-2 in stolen bases.
Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Mike Harkey with a big 22 on the back of his uniform. He walked him. And there's Eric Young, who has swiped 10 bases this year, only been thrown out once. The Aflac trivia question. There it is. Who scored the winning run? The answer will be given to you later. Alex Cole. Throw to first. Cole looped a single in a short center and scored their lone run in the 1st.
In consecutive years in the low minors for the Dodgers, Eric Young stole 70 and 76 bases. And he can go. But the one disadvantage here in Colorado is the dirt is very soft around first base, and sometimes you can't get that good a jump.
Pitch out, not going anywhere.
Rick Wilkins looking over, but it's doubtful that they'd use 2 pitch outs in a row. So if Don Baylor wants to send Young, this is a real good time to do it.
Again they pitch out, but still he doesn't go. 2 balls, no strikes. Eric Young. They could hardly pitch out a 3rd time in a row.
Well, I don't agree with 2 in a row, Harry, especially when your pitcher has just walked the leadoff man, because now you put Mike Harkey in a hole 2-0.
Runner back. Eric Young. Formerly of the Dodgers. There he goes. Perfectly executed hit and run. And runners are at first and third with nobody out. Vizcaino broke the cover, and Alex Cole punched the ground ball right through the vacated spot.
This is what they're calling Baylor ball here in Colorado, and the reason is Don Baylor very aggressive. And he shows the Cubs that he will hit and run, he will try to steal a base, and the Cubs in a hole here as Eric Young goes. Alex Cole executing perfectly through the vacated area, and runners at the corners, nobody out. And these Rockies just 1 point behind Florida, 2 behind the Cubs. As far as nationally hitting is concerned, they're 5th.
Nobody out. Charlie Hayes looks a high pop foul out of play. Hayes singled his first time up. He's hitting .311. 4 homers, 14 RBIs.
Charlie Hayes started with San Francisco, and unfortunately Matt Williams was at third base and he wasn't going anywhere. So they traded him to Philadelphia. And it looked like for a while he was going to play third base every day. But it didn't pan out because they got a youngster by the name of Dave Hollins, who only hit 27 home runs last year. So Hayes then went to the Yankees, and here he is in Colorado.
0-1 the count. Again, Mike Harkey looks towards third, steps towards third, whirls, but Alex Cole is standing on the bag. Line drive, right field, going back. Nice catch. And the leading run scores after the catch is made. Sammy Sosa made a fine catch on Hayes' bullet-like line drive. Young tagging up and scoring after the catch.
RBI number 15 for Charlie Hayes as he takes the ball the opposite way. And Sammy Sosa does not get fooled by this one. The ball seems to take off in the outfield here, and many outfielders would take one step in, and that turns out to be a fatal step. But watch Sammy. He drifts back on this ball, makes the catch, but not before the run scores.
Galarraga throw over to first. Here's the answer to the Aflac trivia question. The answer, Jerome Walt, who now is with the Angels. There goes the runners. They set up the middle. Boy, they sure run. And the runners on at first and third. There's only one out.
They almost ran into an out right there because Jose Vizcaino was pulled over to cover, and if the ball were a foot lower, he would have had it. The ball was right back up the middle, almost taking Mike Harkey's foot with it. And there's Vizcaino right there close to the bag, but it's just too high for him. And now runners at the corners once again with only one out, and Galarraga looks like a different hitter this year.
He's 2 out of 2 in this game. And here's Gerald Clark, who rolled into a double play in a comparable situation in the first inning with runners at first and third to end the inning. Now he's up there with runners at first and third, 1 out. There's a high fly ball, foul territory. Cannot be caught by Sammy Sosa. Had he caught the ball, a run would have scored after the catch. As it is, at least, while they did get the out, at any rate, the run did not score.
Sammy has a long run and comes up just a little short. Looks like he's going to have it. He started to coast after the ball, but the ball fooled him once again, and playing outfield in this ballpark is not easy. And there you're looking at the man that's leading this Rockies team offensively, and anybody could have had Andres Galarraga. In fact, a lot of people thought that the Rockies were crazy to sign him as a free agent after 3 down years, but he's paid dividends.
He swung and he missed. Tried to check it, but he had gone around. 2-1 in favor of the expansion Colorado Rockies. swings, fouls it back.
Mike Harkey can throw a high, tight fastball once again at Gerald Clark. He's going to overpower him and strike him out. But there's a small margin for error. You want to get the ball high enough. He's ahead 0-2. You'd like to throw it out of the strike zone, and he can throw it by him. So we'll have to see what Wilkins calls and if Harkey can get it there.
Whoa, what a catch by Grace! Turns it into a double play. Holy cow! That saved 2 runs right there. A great play by Mark Grace to end the inning. An unassisted double play. Watch it again. Holy cow. So, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 3, the Rockies are leading. Harry Carey from Colorado. At the end of 3, Colorado 2, and the Cubs 1.
Wrigley Field. It's 38,756 great seats to America's greatest game. It's Chicago's Ivy League. It's a symphony of excitement. It's grace under pressure. The power of a charging lineup. And any day or night, it's the best game in town.
First pitch swinging to begin the 4th inning is Mark Grace. He's thrown out by Eric Young. Along with our producer-director Arnie Harris and Steve Stone, Tom Brenneman back into Mile High City. And, well, the first time, obviously, the Cubs have played here in Denver. And, Stoney, what do you think?
Well, I think the ball really carries because you have a man who doesn't have an extra base hit this year, hits the top of the wall at 423 feet, Tommy, and I'm talking about Vinny Castilla. And he almost hit the ball out of the ballpark in the deepest part of the field.
Well, it's a 2-1 Colorado lead. Derek May, the batter, and looks at a strike from David Need, and you'd have to say, seeing this young right-hander, he is very impressive. The #1 pick in the expansion draft last year with Atlanta. This ball drilled into deep center. But these Colorado Rockies have been here before. They know how to play, and that is play deep.
I think that's a big advantage for them in their home park, Tommy. When visiting outfielders come to this park, I don't think they realize just how lively it is. And they'll have a tendency to play maybe a couple of steps too shallow. And another factor, when you see the ball in the outfield, many times it looks like you have to take a step in. Then the ball kind of accelerates, goes over your head. But now Alex Cole has been here for a while. He understands how to play it, and he played that one pretty well. They've got good speed out there, and bear in mind something. Left field is a lot smaller field than right field.
Swing and a miss by Sammy Sosa. Need is fan 2. He's walked 1. The only man he walked scored a run. That was Dwight Smith to open the ball game.
The right fielder here in Colorado has got to be a much better outfielder than the left fielder because he's got a lot more room to cover. And that's Dante Bichette in right field.
And he gets plenty of help from the speedster Alex Cole. Broken bat. The bat almost went as far as the ball. Castilla guns down Sosa, and Need his second perfect inning of the night. In the middle of 4th from Denver, Colorado. And the Rockies lead it 2-1. David Need getting together with his pitching coach Larry Bernhardt. Need has been very impressive thus far. Rockies lead it 2-1. They come to bat against Harkey in the 4th. And the best of friends facing each other for the second time in the game.
Joe Girardi against Mike Harkey. Very close on the Cubs team last year. You know, I talked with Ron Hassey, who was a coach on this team, and he said that Joe Girardi gets a lot of credit for any kind of performances that the Rockies pitchers make, because he said Girardi's just been wonderful with them. He's got a very young staff here, and these guys don't have a lot of experience, Tommy, and quite frankly, a lot of them don't have major league talent at this point. Now, they might get better, and Joe Girardi's going to be a big reason along with Larry Barnard.
Well, Girardi has started all but 1 game this season behind the plate. Dribbles it to Grace, took a bad bounce, and he hung with it. Another terrific play by Grace. I tell you, we didn't get a chance to show that one that ended the bottom of the 3rd inning to you again. We'll do so in a bit, but it was as good a play as you'll see any first baseman make.
Well, Mike Harkey missed his spot there because Rick Wilkins wanted the fastball up and in, and Harkey got it out over the plate, and Gerald Clark just ripped it. Tommy, that's 2 runs if that one gets down the line with the spacious right field here, and Mark Grace kept the Cubs in the ball game. And right now the Rockies giving the Cubs all they want in the early going.
Dante Bichette is 0 for 1. He smacked one hard to Ray Sanchez his first time up. And the Rockies have hit the ball hard tonight against Harkey through the first 3 1/3. They've hit some bullets. But Mike hanging in there, trailing only 2-1. While we have a chance, let's step aside for a station ID on the Cubs television network.
This is WGN-TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. They've had baseball here for better than 100 years as Bichette went too far. They've had some great names and great players pass through here at the minor league levels, from Joe Tinker to Tony Kubek, Bobby Richardson, Barry Larkin, Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, and more. But 1993, it's a big time.
And the fans here are embracing baseball with a vitality seldom seen around the major league. I mean, they're averaging 62,000 fans a game. They're going to go over the 600,000 mark tonight. And this is only their 10th home game. How about that?
Tonight's their smallest crowd of the season, and it's about 53,000 here tonight. Smallest crowd of the year. A Monday night in April.
About 71,000 yesterday on a Sunday afternoon. They had a night it was snowing here. They drew 57,000 people. This is going to be one of the real great sports franchises because you know the way they support the Broncos. What have they had, 130-some straight sellouts?
Another dribbler down to first. Took a crooked hop on Grace, and he managed to pick it up and underhand to Harkey. 2 down in the inning.
You're going to see some unbelievable hops here in Denver, hops that you won't see anywhere else in the major leagues because of the configuration of the clay and the dirt in this infield. Talking with General Manager Bob Gebhardt, they haven't quite figured it out yet. And you see the hop, takes an abrupt right turn on Mark Grace, who stays right with it, flips to Harkey. And you got to be patient with ground balls here, and you have to stay in front of them because they're going to be playing a lot of them off their chests and maybe throw them out after it lands on the ground once or twice.
Vinny Castilla hit the hardest ball of the night, hammered one to dead center for a triple. Here's the play that ended the 3rd inning.
You see the line drive off the bat, and Mark Grace stays right with it and makes the play.
This one drilled again against Smitty on the run. He can't get it. Castilla to second. He'll make the turn as Smith bobbles and make it all the way to 3rd. Castilla did not have an extra base hit coming in, and now he has 2 in a couple of at-bats.
Now let's put this in perspective. Last year, Vinny Castilla had 1 triple in 449 at-bats at Richmond and no extra base hits in the major league. He's got 2 at-bats. He's got 2 triples. And he's making a bid to take the everyday shortstop job from Freddie Benavidez. And the way he's played shortstop and hit the ball tonight, I think we just might see him at shortstop tomorrow night.
Bet on it. So now they're going to appeal to second base, I think. No, Sanchez just having something to say to Harkey. I don't know. I think they are going to appeal. Sanchez standing on the bag.
Well, it's up to Wally Bell now to see if he got a look at it. And if not Wally Bell, it'll be Jerry Crawford. Now, it's Jerry Crawford. Wally Bell went out to see just exactly Dwight Smith was going to do if he'd trap it or whatever. And so the call belonged to Jerry Crawford at first, and he says, yes, he did touch the bag. Or, no, I wasn't looking, so I'm going to call him safe anyway.
Right. That's exactly it. So, again, Need a chance to help himself, already leading 2-1 here in the last of the 4th inning. Hit it hard. A run will score. Colorado. Need his first hit of the season.
First base hit for David Need as he drives it by Steve Buechele. And the Rockies go up by 2.
That ball kind of looked like it took a funny hop on Buechele.
I think you're going to see it all night long, Tom.
Yep. So now back to the top of the order. Eric Young batting for the third time. He's 0 for 1, has walked and scored. So David Need has pitched very, very well and now knocks in the third Colorado run of the game. Eric Young, a Dodger a year ago. Talking to Don Baylor about him before the ball game, and Baylor said he has surpassed all expectations. He came with a reputation of not being a good defensive player. Said he's done very well with a glove, and obviously he has an impact on the outcome of a ball game the way he can run. And now he drills a single. Needs coming to third. Here comes a throw. Safe at third. No, he's out. Whoa, Need thought he beat it. And quite frankly, from here, it looked like he did as well. We'll double check very quickly for you.
Cubs might have gotten a break. Tom Hallion on the call, and we'll watch the throw. And he is out. And the 3-1 Rockies. Okay.
3-1 ball game, Colorado in front. And here's the way the inning ended at third base.
Now watch the leg extension of David Need. Here comes an excellent throw by Dwight Smith. When he slides, his leg kind of collapses here. Doesn't look like he got to the bag, and it definitely looks from that angle like Steve Buechele was able to tag the leg before he got in. So a good call by Tom Hallion. And we'll look at the appeal play at second and watch Castilla. Oh, he's right in the middle of the bag, so there was no doubt on that. He couldn't have stepped on the bag any harder if he did a cartwheel over it.
Don't mention cartwheels. Harkey's pitching tonight.
Not with Mike Harkey on the mound.
Right.
You're right.
Later tonight on WGN, two very different sisters come together in a most unexpected way. Bridget Fonda and Blair Brown start an encore performance of Strapless tonight at 11:30 on WGN Channel 9. An encore performance.
I think we just saw that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Must have gotten rave reviews.
Brought back by popular demand.
Wonder if Arnie had anything to do with that, because he missed the first time around. Steve Buechele struck out his only time up. And you got to like this David Need. We knew all about the reputation he had coming over from Atlanta, where he pitched so well down the stretch for the Braves, the #1 pick, and comes in tonight with a 3-1 record and already one complete game.
And you wonder, Tommy, how they can allow David Need to get away, but we talked about it earlier. There's so much talent in that Atlanta system that they just couldn't protect everyone, and they've got 3 or 4 what they term franchise players in AAA. And so when you talk about guys like Ryan Klesko and Javier Lopez and Chipper Jones, those are guys you have to protect. Factor in a lot of the guys in the major leagues, and David Need becomes someone you have to expose to the draft, and Colorado didn't wait. They jumped right on him, the #1 pick.
3-1 to Buechele, chopped foul, so it's a full count on the Cub third baseman leading off the 5th. Don't forget, coming up right after the ball game, WGN Channel 9's 9 o'clock news. So stay with us. We'll bring you up to date on what else happened all over the world. David Need is fan 2, walk 1, allowed just 2 hits. And he strikes out Buechele looking. And Steve does not argue.
I think he fooled Buechele because he threw him a soft slider in the second inning, and he got him swinging and pulling off the ball. I think Buechele is looking slider again. Instead, he gets the heat on the outside corner at the knees, and Buechele not a happy man. And here's a man who can't be too happy because Rick Wilkins is hitting absolutely nothing.
Already 0 for 1 tonight. The average now under 150. I mean 050, not 150. 1 is the number of base hits.
If it was 150, he'd be throwing a party after the game tonight. Talked to Bob Gebhardt, the general manager of this team, and he said that although he knew that the fans would love this team, he's just amazed at how the reception has been for his club this year.
There's a base hit for Wilkins into left field, so that party might be taking place after all.
You never can tell, Tom. A couple more base hits, and it set him up.
So now Jose Vizcaíno, the hero of yesterday's game. Game-winning hit off of Tim Belcher to knock in Eric Yelding. Cubs coming up with 2 in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat the Reds 2-1. And what a story Vizcaíno has been this season. He has hit safely now, and 8 of his last 9 games, better than 500 the average during that stretch. And bear in mind, we brought up before, 11 RBIs for Vizcaíno now in the number 8 spot in the batting order.
And what the Cubs have to do is clear. They've got to get David Need out of the game because the stopper on this team, Darren Holmes, is sitting with that robust 1869 earned run average.
It's a little deceiving to steal one of your lines.
Right, because he really hasn't thrown all that well. But he does have a save, and there's the appeal. And the appeal by Tom Allion. He calls the strike.
Well, we understand Ryan Sandberg, and I'm sure Harry gave the news in the 3rd inning. Rhino 1 for 3 tonight at single A, including a solo home run. He'll go to Double A Orlando tomorrow, play there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and is expected to be back in the lineup when the Cubs open a series at Riverfront Friday night in Cincinnati.
I think it's a shame he can't spend more time in A-ball time, because I think he could dominate that league if he stayed around and got to know the pitchers.
Just a little. 3-1 Rockies, 1 on, 1 out. We're in the 5th. Need delivers. Got him on a high heat. 2nd strikeout of the inning, 4th of the game for the Colorado right-hander.
Talking with some of the hitters, and they'll tell you that they see the ball better here at night than in the daytime, and that's just the opposite of most hitters. A lot of the hitters complaining at night, especially left-hand hitters with right-hand pitchers on the mound, about the ball coming out of the seats in left center field. But at night, no problem, although it seems to me like it's not quite as light around home plate as most of the major league parks.
Oh, and 1 to Mike Harkey. Girardi will come back, but it's out of play. Giants roughing up the Phillies 8-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Brantley against Rivera.
We're zooming into the home plate area, and that's the area it looks to me might be a little darker than some of the outfield areas, but apparently the hitters not having any problems, especially the Rockies hitters.
There's strike 3. Need fans aside. He allows the hit, leaves 1. We're in the middle of the 5th in Colorado, and the Rockies lead by a pair.
Cub fans, enjoy Cubs baseball from the best seats in the house. Rent a Cubs mezzanine skybox and entertain clients, employees, and friends in style. Each mezzanine skybox includes 15 tickets to the box and 2 parking passes. Plenty of boxes are available throughout the season with special discounts in May. For more information, call 312-404-4068.
A couple of guys in that picture that can hit a little bit. Amos Otis and Don Baylor.
Amos Otis once stole home on me in spring training.
Whoa.
And I knew I couldn't get him, so I threw the ball and I hit him as he slid across the plate.
No, you didn't.
I did. Sure, stealing home in spring training, much too embarrassing.
I like that. I like that. He's going to pull that on you, may as well drill him. 1-1 to Alex Cole, a perfect night.
However, I will tell you that I never threw the ball at Don Baylor because I didn't think I could run fast enough to get away from him.
No. Bunts it in the air. Wilkins, a terrific try, and just a little bit short.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has a right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. Watch the effort by Rick Wilkins. He comes out thinking he has a chance at this ball, but Tommy, you know, the light air carries that ball away from the fielders, so it just went a little bit out of his reach.
There's strike 3 called to Alex Cole, and Harkey has picked up his first strikeout of the game. Rockies are leading it by a count of 3-1 with 1 down and nobody on the last of the 5th inning.
You brought up an interesting point about Tony Muser, who managed 2 years in the Spark, talking to you about pitching. And what did he say?
Well, he talked about patience. I mean, a guy like Harkey tonight, you look up on the board, he's been battered around, clearly doesn't have his best stuff. He's given up 9 base hits already. But he said when you manage here, and due to the air and the way the ball carries, the configuration of the ballpark, you got to be a lot more patient with your starting pitchers because they might give up hits and might give up runs, but you can't go through 4, 5, 6 pitchers a game, because then when you go on the road trip or even another game here tomorrow, you have nobody left.
And that's certainly on the mind of Jim Lefevre, who I'm sure has gotten some help from Tony Muser about the intricacies of this ballpark.
And that's why when all is said and done, as it goes to 1-2 on Charlie Hayes, you know, there could be some very good starting performances by some Rocky pitchers in this ballpark this year, but they'll have some inflated ERAs because of the way the ball travels.
Well, that's the one thing that I love about baseball, Tom, is that it's not the same. Every park is not 100 yards or the same amount of 94 feet of a basketball court. Every park has its idiosyncrasies, and every park has its eccentricities, and you go around, the game is different everywhere you go, and every game completely different many times because of the way the park is set up, and that's why it's a beautiful game, and in my opinion, the best game.
No doubt about it. 2-2 now to Charlie Hayes. Had a sac fly RBI in the 3rd inning. He singled in the 1st. A lot of people very surprised the Yankees did not protect Charlie Hayes. He hit 18 home runs for him last year, batted in 66 in 142 games. Solid player, and the Rockies are glad to have him.
There's another example, Tom, of an organization that had an enormous amount of talent at the minor league level. The Yankees were rated in the top 3 or 4 with young talent, and they just ran out of places to protect people, and Charlie Hayes became available. You look at that team, they've got enough hitting. If the Yankees don't win this year, it won't be because of the bats, it'll be because of their pitching.
2-2 to Charlie Hayes. And he finds it in the center. It'll drop for a hit. Hit number 10 for the Rockies against Harkey tonight. And Charlie Hayes is second.
They are dancing in the streets of Caracas, Venezuela, because of the resurgence of the man up at the bat right now. Andres Galarraga, one of the nicest guys in the game today, suffered through 3 just terrible years. And he said the second half of last year with St. Louis, he finally got it together with this new open stance he's got, and he looks like a different hitter today, taking the ball right back through the middle twice. And he says when he's hitting, he's a gap hitter. The gap in left center to right center, and that's when he's at its best.
Galarraga can't get that one from Harkey. His name is littered all over these statistical categories in the National League. 3rd in hitting. He's 2nd in runs batted in. Incidentally, behind Barry Bonds in both categories. He's number 1 in base hits. With a 2 tonight, he now has 28 on the year. He's 5th in total bases. And there you see with the 2 hits tonight, his average has jumped all the way up to the magical 400 mark. Through the hole, Galarraga now 3 for 3. Hayes advances to second base. And still no activity down in the Cubs bullpen up the left field line.
Well, now I think you're at the point, Tom, where you've got to get somebody up. And the reason is your starter's given up 11 hits. We're not through the 5th inning yet. And you got a man on the mound opposing you who hasn't given up anything, and yet Nobody up in that bullpen.
Harkey had come into tonight's game in 14 1/3 innings, having only allowed 6 hits.
He's making up for that tonight as these Rockies red hot at home.
Gerald Clark, big cut and a miss. San Diego waited and waited on this spell to come around. Never quite happened.
One thing he can't hit is a high fastball, and Harkey had him 0-2 last time, and he threw the fastball out over the plate. As you see, Jose Bautista starting to get loose. If Harkey throws high fastballs tight, he'll have no problems with Clark.
Rockies threatening to add to this 3-1 lead. Charlie Hayes at second base. Andres Galarraga over at first. Ron Hassey to coach down that way. And an 0-1 count to Gerald Clark. He hit that line drive that Grace made a spectacular grab on. Turned it into a double play in the 3rd inning. There go the runners. And this will be another double play. A liner to Vizcaíno. And if there were none out, that would have been a triple play. Easily. 2 hits, 1 left. 10-5. Rockies leading 3-1. Glad to have you with us on this Monday night from Denver, Colorado, and the Cubs trailing the Rockies 3-1. Well, I understand, Stoney, that this is our first full day in the Mile High City, and you had a rather interesting lunch.
Well, you know my culinary exploits. I try to hit the hot spots around town. I went to a place that was a lot like Goose Island in Chicago without the goose. But I had a couple of things that I've never had before. I had an elk burger and a buffalo burger. And I got to tell you, I'm never going to have them again.
Not good, huh?
They weren't all that good. The elk burger tasted like they had just shot it before I came in the restaurant.
That's nice.
The buffalo burger was fairly stringy.
Back from the Indian reservation days.
Yeah, I think Custer's Last Stand, they got this buffalo and served it to me today.
That's
interesting, but certainly not an experience to be repeated.
Well, you know the story on the expansion teams, and the average record, well over 100 losses. You see the home record, the away record, and of course the all-time worst expansion team, the New York Mets, and the all-time best in terms of number of wins, as it's bobbled by Young. But did he pull him off? No, Galarraga got the toe back down, so they retire Smith. But most number of wins came from the LA Angels.
I don't think this team is going to lose 100 games, Tommy, because Don Baylor has some good speed, and that shows up at the park every day. As you look at Eric Young, who has some problems with this one, but manages to throw out Dwight Smith anyway, as Andres Galarraga barely keeping his foot on the bag, and Young stays with it and makes the play.
You know, the irony, of course, about the Mets having the worst team was that 9 years later, they went to the World Series and, of course, won it in 1969. The LA Angels had the best expansion team record of all time and have never been to a World Series. So I don't know how much you can gauge out of what either one of these teams do, the Rockies or the Marlins, in the first, second, third year.
I thought your partner on the radio side, Ron Santo, made a pact with you that you should never mention 1969 in any context.
I am sorry. Had to do it tonight. But see, I'm on the TV side. I can get away with that. Sanchez bounces out to Vinny Castilla, and boy, David Need, he allowed a run in the first inning on 1 hit since then. He's only allowed 2 more hits, and he has been very impressive tonight.
Even if it's a lively park, it really doesn't matter much if you're hitting ground balls, and that's what David Need has the Cubs doing tonight. If he's not striking them out, he's inducing them to hit ground balls, and so far he's given up just 3 singles. 1 to the man he's looking at here.
Mark Grace's hit came in the first inning, set up the first run. And he has hit number 2 of the game. So Grace a 2-out single with the Cubs trailing 3-1 in the 6th inning. It'll give Derek May a chance.
David Need has kept the ball away from Derek May, and Derek May has tried to pull it twice, so he's flied to center field. Once, of course, a sacrifice in the first inning. But on your mind with the light air now is hitting the ball out of the ballpark and tying up this game. And he's hoping that Need leaves something over the inner portion of the plate.
Don Baylor said before the game today there has not yet been a home run hit to right field in this park this season. 370 down the right field line, and it's 400 into right center. And there's a shot through the hole in the left field, so the Cubs 2 hits with 2 men out. And they have the go-ahead run coming up in Sammy Sosa.
David Need has been mighty tough on Sammy Sosa by throwing the Good's hard sliders away from him. And Joe Girardi's out to the mound now to talk with Need, and Joe knows Sammy pretty well, and I'm sure that's what he said. If you go in, go way in. Other than that, make sure that Sammy's going to hit the ball to center field by keeping the ball away.
Well, hey, let's face it, and it's not a secret around the National League. Against good right-handed pitching, Sammy's going to have a tough time. I mean, he has come leaps and bounds as a hitter, but it just seems like there are times when he's still very impatient. He'll go after that hard breaking ball down and away. He got this one and drills it into left center. Grace rounds third. He'll come in to score. On to third goes Derek May, and Sosa in with a double. So he's made it a 1-run game as Sosa knocks in his 11th run of the season.
Well, that time Joe Girardi wanted the slider away, but watch what happens. Need gets it up, and Sammy Sosa reaches out, pokes it into left center field, and the Cubs pull within 1. Looked for a while like there was a little problem in left center as Clark crossed in front of Cole. But Cole came up with it. And the Cubs have runners at second and third, and a chance for Steve Buechele, who struck out twice. And here comes Larry Barnard out to talk with David Need. You know, Tom, we talked about people who've got to be patient. One of the most patient men in this ballpark has got to be Don Baylor, because he's going to watch his very young team make a lot of mental mistakes, make a lot of physical mistakes. And he's not a man who was patient as a player. He was a man with an intense desire to win, to beat you at any cost. And he's got to tone down that intensity. As you look at Jeff Parrott in the bullpen, he's getting loosened up in a hurry. You know, Larry Bowa had the same kind of intensity as Don Baylor, and his first shot at managing, it didn't work out very well for him. And Baylor's got to guard against that.
Buechele takes ball 1 high, so Need, who had retired rather easily Smith and Sanchez to begin the inning, gave up back-to-back singles to Grace and May. Run scoring double by Sammy Sosa. Now Jim Lefebvre's team with runners at second and third and 2 out, a chance to take the lead. 2 balls and no strikes.
You've got to get into this bullpen, because after David Need, the rest of the bullpen a little shaky. Everyone has some problems in middle relief. The Rockies have a lot of problems in middle relief.
2-0 delivery. Cannot get it. Good off-speed pitch here by the Colorado right-hander. Buechele has struck out twice, one swinging, the other looking. May at third, Sosa on at second. 2 men out. Rockies leading 3-2. And this will give the Cubs a lead. Sosa following behind Derek May. Buechele, a 2-out, 2-run single. And the Cubs go back on top. It's a 4-3 ball game.
RBIs 4 and 5 for Steve Buechele, and this is what he did so very well last year. He didn't hit for power, but he was able to drive in runs by going to right field. Here he drives in 2. The Cubs have the lead, and the inning's still not over as Sammy Sosa puts the Cubs on top. And Tommy, attendance tonight, 48,768. You're right, the smallest crowd of the year, but 610,666 in 10 dates for this very young season.
In the dirt, wheels have certainly fallen off for David Need. He's allowed 4 consecutive hits, leading to 3 runs and giving the Cubs this 4-3 advantage. But a long way to go.
Jim Lefebvre's got to be happy, Tom, because this is a 2-out rally. And you don't see that too often, especially putting 3 runs on the board after 2 are out. That's the sign of a real good team.
Wilkins 1 for 2, singled his last time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. You have to wonder if Harkey's going to come out for the bottom of the 6th inning. I mean, he won't be taken down for a pinch hitter unless the Cubs get a couple of more men reach, but he gave up 2 very hard hit balls in the 5th and has surrendered a total of 11 hits. That one is fouled.
I think he's going to come out, Tommy, because nobody's loosening up in the bullpen. The question is, how patient is Jim Lefebvre going to be after Mike Harkey, who's thrown a lot of pitches because of those 11 hits? If he gets in trouble again, then they will probably go to the pen.
One ball and 2 strikes. 1 on, 3 runs in. Cubs in front of the Rockies 4-3. Wednesday night, Cubs take on Houston in a game that will not be seen on WGN due to Major League Baseball's blackout rule, but in the Chicago area you can catch it on cable, only on Chicagoland TV. Tell you how to get it here in a minute. If your cable system doesn't offer Chicagoland TV yet, well, give them a call and ask for it to be added. It doesn't cost you a dime since it's a basic cable service. Again, the Cubs in Houston on Wednesday night on Chicagoland TV. And another working date for Steve Stone and Arnie Harris.
No problem there for Arnie. No racetracks in Houston, so it really doesn't matter to him.
Yeah, but otherwise, you would have been back in Chicago early Wednesday morning.
No, we've got to do the Thursday night game. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Kibler down to Colorado. That's the inning. But the Cubs strike for 3 runs, 4 hits, leave 1. And for the first time since the top of the 1st inning, the Cubs have a 1-run lead. Well, we're back in Denver, Colorado. It is a 4-3 Cubs lead as we open the bottom of the 6th inning. Harkey still out there facing Girardi, Bichette, and Castilla.
You know, Tommy, when we started tonight, it was very warm, around 70 degrees, but it's getting a lot cooler out tonight as the game moves along.
Sick man. 0-2 to Girardi. Joe has popped to first and bounced to first in his 2 trips against his best pal and former roommate, Mike Harkey.
Joe, very popular here in Denver, and he's off to a very good start.
The 0-2, and it's down and away. No activity in the Cub bullpen.
They drafted a young man by the name of Eric Wedge from Boston, and Wedge can hit, but he's had some elbow problems. They had to operate again on his arm, and he'll go down for some rehab before coming back, and they think he's going to back up Girardi and give him a pretty good bat off the bench.
That one drilled in the right center field to hit. Girardi going to make the turn, but slam the brakes as Sosa fires it back into Vizcaíno, but the tying run is aboard to open the Colorado 6th inning.
I would hate to see Jim Lefebvre too patient with Mike Harkey because he really doesn't have a great deal of stuff tonight. And there's Jim Lefebvre pacing back and forth. He's got to get that bullpen up. They are starting once again as he talks it over with Billy Connors. Mike Harkey has got to throw the ground ball double play, and Dante Bichette has tremendous power. He's got to respect that. He's already hit 3 home runs and 10 runs driven in.
Harkey's done a good job with him tonight as Bautista gets loose again in the bullpen. Bichette has bounced to Sanchez and grounded to Mark Grace.
Outfield very deep for Bichette. Dwight Smith close to 400 feet away in straightaway center field.
I think Sosa's still too shallow and right. Don Baylor talked about that at length today. This could be the double play ball. But Harkey's throw to Vizcaíno darn near pulled him off the bag. He got his toe down in time to get Girardi, but nothing doing on the throw to first.
Well, that could have been 2, and the Rockies will have another out this inning as Mike Harkey turns around and makes a very bad throw. And Tommy, I think what happened was Harkey was on the flat before the mound, and he stepped right on the raised part. Look at it right here. He steps on the raised part. It really throws off the rhythm of the throw. Fortunately, Vizcaíno was able to get the foot back on the bag, and they do get the out and the leading man.
Toughest out of the game so far for Harkey. Vinny Castilla has slammed 2 balls off the wall in dead center, a pair of triples. He has scored a run. Now Bautista joined by Danny Plesac now in the Cub bullpen. Plesac, a left-hander.
Bichette 2 out of 4 in the stolen base department. He is not one of the speedier Rockies, but he has decent enough speed.
Again, Smitty deep in center, May deep in left. Sosa about normal depth in right. Jimmy Lefebvre's team trying to go to 2 games over 500. Come in at 9-8. Rockies 6 up, 11 down. Nothing doing on the pitch out.
Jim Lefebvre's done that a couple times, Tom, and he put Harkey in a hole 2-0. You don't see that too often. And it really puts him in a jam because more times than not, you got to come in with a fastball. And I'm sure that's what Castilla's looking for.
Yeah, that was a 2-0 hole to Alex Cole after Eric Young led off the 3rd inning with a walk. Then they played hit and run at 2-0. And Cole got a base hit.
Well, you know a fastball is coming, and Alex Cole's a pretty decent hitter, and he took advantage of it.
Strike on the outer edge, 2-1.
That time, Rick Wilkins went to the breaking ball, and Harkey threw a pretty good pitch. Rockies' bullpen is up and going, and it's Jeff Parrott once again. So if they get down to the spot occupied by David Need, apparently Don Baylor will make a change, and they got him.
Yep, they sure do. Dante Bichette straying too far off the bag, and Grace laying the tag off the throw from Mike Harkey, and that is a big out.
See Bichette leaning the wrong way, and he can't get back. Good throw, and no doubt Mark Grace has him. The call by Jerry Crawford, and the biggest play of the game to date. So now the base is clean, and a dribbler, which is a foul ball, says Jim Quick, the home plate umpire. Get a look at Mike Harkey, his reaction to picking off Dante Bichette. When you've given up 12 hits and you're not through the 6th inning, anything you can do to wipe a base runner off is a good thing. And Mike Harkey knows he's got the lead for one of the few times tonight, and he wants to hold it.
This with a breaking ball, full count on Castilla. Need is in the on-deck circle, but should Castilla reach, he will not bat. Cubs 4, Rockies 3. Bottom of the 6th inning. Buechele, diving stab, has trouble getting up, and the throw is not in time. Fine play by Steve Buechele. Just that moment, slight pause when he lost his footing getting up after making the diving stab cost him the out.
Good effort by Steve Buechele as he goes wide of the bag to stop this one from going into the outfield. And right here, watch when he gets up, he has some problems, and that little stutter step allowed Castilla to beat it at first. Good effort by Buechele. And so a good break for the Cubs with Mike Harkey picking off Dante Bichette. And Tom, you saw the difference in the move between a right-hander and left-hander as far as a pickoff move. A left-hander depends on deception for his pickoff move. A right-hander depends on speed, and Mike Harkey showed some pretty quick feet. I think it's Jim Tatum coming on to pinch hit.
It is indeed Tatum. Couple of hits in 10 at-bats without a home run or an RBI. So Tatum to hit for David Need, who looked like a world beater through the first 5 2/3. But then with 2 out in the 6th, gave up 4 consecutive hits and 3 runs to give the Cubs his 4-3 advantage.
Tatum had a monstrous year at Denver last year in AAA. At 19 home runs, drove in 101 runs, and made it to Milwaukee for just 8 games and 5 at-bats. Didn't show too much there. And now he's a utility player for Don Baylor, back where he starred last year.
Tatum got the first Colorado Rocky hit in spring training, and then was promptly picked off first base. Harkey to 1-0. Tatum fouls it away. It'll even the count, a ball and a strike. 2-out infield hit by Vinny Castilla, who is 3 for 3. He's over at first. And the Rockies trailing the Cubs by a run.
We pan around the ballpark. Ballpark that the Rockies will use for only 2 years before they move into Coors Park. Tommy, I think that Mike Harkey will be done after this inning. He's thrown a lot of pitches, giving up 13 hits. He's due up second in the 7th, and I think this will be it for him. He hung a breaking ball right in the wheelhouse of Jim Tatum. And there you see Bautista and Plesac getting ready. I would think it would be Bautista if you're looking at matchups right or left-handed. Eric Young's a right-hander, Alex Cole a left-hander, but Hayes, Galarraga, and Clark and Girardi all right-handers. It would make sense to go with Bautista if you're going to take down Harkey.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tatum, and he got him swinging, which ends the inning. So the Rockies 2 hits, leaving 1. Harry back in the 7th through 6 from Denver. Cubs lead 4-3.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman. As we go to the top of the 7th, Jeff Parrott becomes the new Colorado pitcher.
Jeff Parrott on for the 10th time this year. No record, an ERA of 5.25, and Parrott has been around with just about everyone. Last year he was with Oakland, where he was spectacular. 9-1, a 3.02 ERA in 66 games.
Here's the first pitch to Jose Vizcaino, nothing out of 2.
Parrott at 6'3", 195 pounds, out of Indianapolis, Indiana, now makes his home in Lexington, Kentucky. He did not have a save last year for Oakland, as you would expect with Dennis Eckersley there.
There's the strike call. Pittsburgh and Atlanta tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 10th. Smoltz against Cook. Got bouncing ball foul. Cincinnati shut out Florida 3-0. The Giants lead Philadelphia 8-3. Bob Scanlon getting ready.
Willie Wilson in the on-deck circle, and that will be it for Mike Harkey.
Struck him out. Vizcaino, for the 2nd time in a row, strikes out. So Parrott strikes out the first man he faces. Need in 6 innings allowed 7 hits, 4 runs. He fanned 5 and walked 1. Willie Wilson batting for Harkey. And it's up to Scanlon again. Boy, he did a terrific job again yesterday. Willie Wilson. Harkey leads the game with the lead. He could be the winner. Wilson, after a good start, has slumped off a little bit. Now, 1 out of 5 is a pinch hitter, hitting .268. Boy, how about the attendance? Much smaller tonight than was expected. But 48,768 for their 10 games at home. They have now averaged better than 61,000 per game. They've drawn 610,666. Line drive, left center field, going to be caught. Oh, he got by him. Goes all the way to the wall. Here's Wilson on his way to 3rd. The throw, no play.
I think he lost it in the lights, Harry. This was a line drive to left field, and it looked like Gerald Clark had it. The ball was slicing into him, but at the last instant, because it wasn't hit high enough, He lost it in the lights here at Mile High Stadium. He comes across. Now watch. Now he just tries to protect himself. You see him turn his head away. He never saw that ball, and it should go as a 3-base hit. Hey, Wilson all the way to third easily.
We lead the league in hitting drives that the outfielders can't catch. We won a game that way yesterday. A runner at third with 1 out.
Well, they're giving him an error, but that's not a good call. He never saw that ball, and when you lose something in the lights like that, especially on a line drive, that's a tough error for Gerald Clark.
So Wilson is at third. The infield is in. Here's Dwight Smith. He's 0 for 2. Big run to pick up. 1 out.
That's the 20th error of the year for the Rockies.
In their first strike call. Watch as you see Wilson watching the ball. Now he sees a drop get by Gerald Clark, and he turns on the speed. Pitch out. They thought a squeeze might be hard. So they're guessing wrong on pitch outs too, like the Cubs.
4 for 4 tonight, and nobody's guessed right yet.
1-1 pitch. Parrott starts to throw to third. No way to throw the ball over there because Charlie Hayes about 20 feet off the bag. A little tap. Can't score the run on that one. Hey, close, but he's out. Oh boy. Tapped the ball about 15 feet off the mound. Let's pause here for identification.
This is WGN-TV Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Remember, the news follows a ball game. The Cubs leading 4-3 at the moment. Ray Sanchez, nothing out of 3. Strike call, curveball, Parrott.
Parrott originally signed with Milwaukee, then went to Montreal, spent parts of 3 seasons with them, on to Philadelphia in '89, spent 2 years with them, a couple of years with Atlanta, then on to Oakland last year, and here he is in Colorado.
Bouncy ball up the middle, and they scored the run. Castillo got his glove on the ball but couldn't hold it. Running to his left. Let's see what they call out. The Cubs have picked up their 5th run of the night.
Well, I assume this has got to go as a base hit. Castillo can't get to it. It hits off the glove, but he was going far to his left. And we'll have to see. No decision yet, but it certainly looks like a base hit from where we're standing.
Sanchez would get an RBI if it's a hit. It is a hit and an RBI for Ray Sanchez. And the Cubs now lead 5-3. And here's Mark Grace, who's had 2 out of 3, scored 1 run. He started that 2-out, nobody on rally in the 6th, getting the first of 4 straight hits. The biggest being Sam Sosa's double and Steve Buechel's 2-run single. Parrott's pitch high and inside. The Cardinals beat Houston 3-2. McGreen over Drabek. Started a swing, tipped and foul. And the count is evened up a ball and a strike. Grace hitting .338. With 2 out of 3 so far tonight. The throw, he's back. Well, they were talking about 60,000 people being here tonight. It's been a lovely day. 8 of 10 is 48,768. High pop out of play. But the big thing is not the 48,000. The big thing is the average of 61,066 per each game played at home this year. This being their 10th game at home. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Whoop, almost hit him. And the count is evened up, 2-2. Mark Grace, a big 17 on the back of his uniform, and veteran. Parrott pitches inside. Ball 3.
This will give the Cubs the advantage now because Ray Sanchez will be off with a pitch. It takes away the force at second. Galarraga playing a couple steps behind him at first.
Jeff Parrott getting ready. Sanchez. He throws over there. Galarraga wasn't standing on the bag, but Jeff Parrott knew where he was and threw where he was standing. There he goes. Line shot, right field. Sanchez around second, on his way to third. And Grace is 3 out of 4 tonight.
That one almost hit Ray Sanchez right in the head as he was taking off, and Sanchez has to duck this one. Grace crushes the ball right at Ray, and Mark Grace is having a big night here. We'll take a look at Sanchez. That one just missed him.
Here now is Derek May. 1 run is in. The Cubs lead 5-3. Swung and he missed. Derek has only 1 hit. He batted in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first. He got 1 of the 4 hits in a row that accounted for the 3 hits, which put the Cubs into the lead in the 6th.
Parrott throws a hard breaking ball, and he's got a wild pitch this year, and many times he throws it in the dirt, so it's something to look out for.
There's a high fly ball. Gerald Clark on the run is there and makes the catch to retire the side. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. We go in the bottom of the 7th. And the Cubs are leading 5-3. Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go in the bottom of the 7th. And Bob Scanlon is in there. The Cubs are leading by 2, 5-3.
Scanlon's ERA is coming down. He's 0-2 with a 5.63 ERA on for the 11th time. And you look at the foul poles. They're 65 feet high, but they look very short here in Colorado because the stands are so high. But that is the major league minimum for a foul pole. And that's what they have here. One of the reasons why they had to make it that short was that these stands moved back for football, and they didn't know where they were going to store them if they made them much bigger.
Scanlon appearing in his 11th game. The only decisions he has are 0-2. He's lost 2. There's a curveball in there. Eric Young leading off in the 7th. This is a guy you want to keep off that base. 5-3 Cubs. Bouncing ball ought to be easy. Over to first, 1 away.
Scanlon came in yesterday in the 8th inning. He had runners on 1st and 3rd, trying to protect the lead. Or at that point, not the lead, but trying to protect a 1-run deficit. And he fanned Reggie Sanders. He got Joe Oliver to line out, and he got the game to Randy Myers. The Cubs won it late, and Scanlon had a big hand in it.
Here now, Alex Cole, 2 out of 3. Toronto beat Texas 8-6. Carter hit number 6. There's a drive way back in Sosa. Whoa, what a sensational play he made. Sosa caught up with that ball and caught it over his shoulder. And Dwight Smith congratulating him out there. What a play.
We talked about Sammy Sosa playing a shallow right field, and here he's put to the test. He breaks back on his ball immediately, a full-out sprint, and able to haul it in. And with the speed of Alex Cole, this is a 3-base hit if he can't get to it. And what a play by Sammy Sosa, who's had a couple of problems the last few days, but that was worth the price of admission.
Here now is Charlie Hayes, 2 out of 2. From another angle. Boy, he just gave it everything he had to catch up with that one. 2 out, nobody on. Mike Morgan tomorrow night. Bouncing ball, foul. Morgan against Butch Henry, who's a high school teammate of Frank Castillo of the Cubs. Wow, that pitch looked pretty good. There they are, Mike Morgan and Butch Henry. Same time tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Ball out of play. Charlie Hayes. There's a drive. Nobody can get this one. All the way to the wall. And Hayes, a line drive double, his 3rd hit of the night.
And that makes the catch by Sammy Sosa even more important because the Rockies would be within 1 with Hayes at second base, and out comes Billy Connors to talk with Bob Scanlon because the hottest of these Rockies, Andres Galarraga, coming up.
Hayes has had 3 out of 3. The other time he had a sacrifice fly driving in a run. And Andres Galarraga, who also has 3 out of 3, comes up with 2 out. Charlie Hayes started in the California organization. Then he went with Texas, played at Shreveport. Then he came up with the Giants. Then was traded to the Phillies. Had a couple years there, and last year he had a banner year with the Yankees, hitting 18 home runs. Now he's with the Rockies. Swung and he missed. That may have been the fart ball. If he throws a fastball, they tell me to Galarraga, he better keep it very high, out of the strike zone. He's ahead of him 0-2.
Well, that's exactly where he threw it, Harry, but he wanted a little more inside than that. You saw Wilkins at the last instant move inside to Galarraga. You can throw the fastball by him high and tight, but you better keep it letter high or above. You get it down, unless it's down and out of the strike zone, and you've got some trouble.
0-2. Scanlon. Has been hurt a couple of times by the long ball. But other than that, he has really done remarkably well. As witness his performance yesterday. Sanchez got there in a hurry. Fielded the ball on one hop and threw Galarraga out. No run. One hit, no errors. One left. At the end of 7th, the Cubs lead 5-3. Harry Carey back to the ballpark. Sammy Sosa on the first pitch is thrown out by Vinny Castilla, the shortstop, who came over to the second baseman's side of the bag to throw him out.
I think Sammy thought he was going to get a base hit here, but the ball took the high hop, and Castilla's got a good, strong arm. He comes right across the middle, closes a lot of ground, and fires it across, and nothing wrong with the arm of Castilla.
1 out, nobody on. We're in the 8th. Cubs leading by 2. Looks like the stage is set for Randy Myers to come in and pitch the 9th. There's a strike call. Bouchel, who drove in the 2 runs and put the Cubs ahead. There's a strike call. There's Randy Myers with the jacket on.